You're very welcome. For today, it will probably be about 45 minutes of a webinar. We're going to take you through the setup of a campaign. So it'll be a live demo of how you can build your own campaigns. We've essentially kind of changed the layout around slightly, so to make it even easier for you guys to set up campaigns yourselves for like any kind of initiative you're running. We also have team functionality that we'll be touching on as well. So for example, this would be used a lot in the run amok events. So for registration, and it works with it's fully integrated with fundraising as well. We did a full webinar there earlier in the year on challenges. So with the closure of Facebook fundraising, essentially you have a free challenge tool here, which you can fully customize with your campaign too. So we'll be going through those settings, a little bit through the user experience and through the platform, different kind of analytics and engagement tools that are available to you for free through using the platform as well for your campaigns. And essentially the biggest change that's come is essentially now your campaigns are available in widget form. So instead of people having to click through and go to a separate, website to sign up, essentially we're going to show you how it works in terms of all the traffic and all your fundraisers will be staying on your website, essentially in terms of the fundraiser journey. So yeah, in case I think there are a good few kind of familiar faces and then a few new faces in the call today. So just to give you a quick overview, because again, the biggest feedback we get from charities is that there's so many platforms available to them and in terms of managing them all. So just a quick overview in terms of what would make us slightly different compared to others is essentially the fundraising platform was born out of, I guess, frustration for us as event master in trying to build community fundraising through people registering for events. So it's fully integrated the system with the registration. So again, really powerful registration options for free available to charities on there as well. Again, with real-time reports and the team's functionality. Unlike other platforms, we don't ask fundraisers don't have to log in or activate their fundraising page to get started. So there's no drop off or extra ask in terms of engaging with fundraisers and getting them converted into active fundraisers for you in terms of the logging in or any kind of extra step of activation when they sign up to take part for something for you. The built-in marketing and engagement tools, we'll touch on this as well in terms of Google Analytics and Facebook Pixels. These have been new additions in the last 12 months as well. Again, we've done all the hard part for you in terms of the coding and everything like that. So if anyone isn't very tech savvy in that regard, don't worry at all. And yeah, essentially all funds go directly to you in real time, just like your reports being real time. And by default, there's no platform fee and we don't take bank charges. Instead, the donors can opt to cover them for you, which we find over 90% do. Well, let's get started. We're just going to build a campaign together. So I'm just going to log in. This is our test charity page just for this session here. So when you log in, you should have the very similar dashboard to me. Again, you might have your custom color in here by default as well. Again, this interface has been slightly updated and improved over the last few months as well. So in terms of your dashboard overview, but for this, so we're going to go straight into campaigns. So it's the very top button on this side here. So you'll see nothing has changed here in terms of you can see all the different events that you're available for selection on the platform. Again, if you have any of your own special campaigns set up, this is where they're all going to be. So the new addition is the create a campaign button up here. So I'm just going to click on this. So this is the new interface. So I'm just going to do Do shave or dye 2024 fundraising campaign. The description can be as long or as short as you want. For this one, just to make it quick, I'll just do a test 1, 2, 3. You'll notice by default, all the funds are going directly to your charity name. The campaign open date. So essentially this can be for whatever dates you want, whenever you want fundraisers to be able to start signing up essentially and creating their pages. So for example, if we were doing, a shave or dye campaign for say the month of September, it might be no harm to open it up in August in case you're doing any kind of lead generation campaigns to get people kind of have their pages created in advance. And then you'd be starting the whole campaign throughout the whole of September. And usually for the campaign close date, we usually recommend keeping this open, say, minimum 2 weeks after the overall campaign is over or the event is over. Or you can leave it open even a month after the campaign. In terms of that kind of curve, in terms of when, the fundraising being the highest during the campaign or during the event day, it kind of leaves that extra time for people to get those, final donations, or if employers are matching, donations to the page or anything like that as well. So these can be whatever you like. Your logo, again, this will be pulled in for you by default, and your contact information here. So it just means any alerts from the campaign are going to this email address here. So these are all the required fields. So this is just the most simple setup in terms of you having your campaign page. The only other one that might be nice to add for yourselves is going into the branding. And you'll notice there's a space here that you can upload an image. So just to show you how quick it is, I'll pop this one just for my PC that we made earlier. So I'm just going to click save, and that's been done for me now. So I actually have two here at the minute because we did a test one earlier as well. So this is the one we just set up. So you'll notice this is essentially the most basic setup in terms of you have your campaign page, which all your fundraisers will be pulled into, and your start fundraising button, essentially, for fundraisers. You'll notice as well, with the sign up for the fundraising pages, the default is the fundraiser name and their email, but you can add any custom questions to this as well. So just to show you the other one from earlier, I'll just click on edit, and there's a custom question section here as well. So if I click on custom questions, this is the one that we made earlier, but you can click on add new custom question. And essentially for this, you pick if you want the question to be there for the fundraiser or for the donor. So say for the fundraiser, we might do t-shirt size. This is essentially just the question you want to ask them. So again, it can be as long or short as you want it to be. Required just means, is this an optional question that might be, nice information for you to have, but not necessarily, critical in order for them to take part in the fundraising activity. So, and then you have different options. So for this one, text will just be a simple, they can type in whatever they want, be it like a name or, the reason they're taking part. Drop down. Again, this will be a really useful one, especially in terms of the t-shirt sizes. So I'll just do small, medium, large, and hit save. So again, I made the two of the very same, but you can go in and you can remove anything, add extra ones in here as well, and just save your changes. So this is where your custom questions will be. So once they're added in there, they'll be included in your start fundraising button as well. If I actually saved it. Perfect. So in terms of the big change here in regard to this is instead of this start fundraising button and then fundraisers being taken to this page here instead, essentially this will be a form that sits on your site. So this is just an example we have with Breast Cancer Ireland at the moment. So their custom questions are added to a campaign very same as this. And there is the widget essentially that sits into their website. So essentially, you can kind of control all like the branding or any kind of messaging you want on the page in terms of the ask. And essentially, all this is pulled into your normal campaign. So obviously, for this one, it's like our shave and dye. We just have a normal campaign. The very same as this 2K day has a normal campaign page as well. But in terms of the sign up, it's all pulling directly through this widget. So in terms of the setup, right now we can just send you the code, so you can just let us know I've set up a fundraising campaign. Can you please send me what I need to send on to my web developers, or we can send it on to them directly for you. But you'll have a widget section essentially in your charity page. Right now, this is just our testing one. So again, it'll look different, slightly different for you guys in terms of the interface. But essentially, your widget would be for this campaign. So essentially, you come on, you pick what sign up. For example, even if you wanted to have one for any other events on the platform, you'll notice there are multiple events to choose from, or multiple fundraising campaigns to choose from here. But just for this one, we're going to choose our widget. And if I click on preview here, you'll see what my widget looks like essentially with the first name, last name, and our custom t-shirt size that we asked for as well. So you have a preview what it looks like. Just to stay on track with the campaigns at the minute, we might go back here and we'll take you through some of the other sections available for you in terms of fully customizing your campaign. Again, if there's any questions, feel free to pop the questions in the chat box or the Q&A section, and we can go through those as well. So the most basic information that you need to get started is just in the main tab here. And the further kind of customization options then are financial, your branding, and whether or not you want to include challenge or team options on the event. So for the financial, you can control the currency for the campaign. The target amount, that is the target amount you want to be on your fundraiser pages. So whether you want it to be €100, €1,000, you can set the target amount here. If you don't customize it, the default is 500 automatically. You can control the default donation options. Obviously, for donors, they can type in any amount they want. And you can control the minimum donation that's allowed. And then the default right now on the system for the default donations amount is 20, 30, 50, 75, 100. So again, you can fully customize this just by including the commas. So it might be 5, 10, 15, 25, and 50, whichever ones you'd like to pick. You can choose whether or not you want to allow offline donations by fundraisers. So this essentially means that when a fundraiser like gets their page and they log in, you know, they can customize the image and everything else as well, and their fundraising story. But they will also see an option there to basically log an offline donation. So say somebody's given them cash or they sent you a check directly and they just want their fundraising page to reflect that total. You can allow fundraisers to do this for themselves. But you know, if you don't want to allow this and want more kind of control in terms of reconciling the funds, you can just send them on to us on a case-by-case basis, and we can automatically update the total once you're in receipt of the funds. You can also turn off direct donations to a campaign. So, for example, on your campaign page here, if you wanted to hide this donate button by any chance, and you just wanted the main ask on the page to be just to start fundraising, to start fundraising. That's what that button does there. For your branding, you'll notice your custom color is also pulled in by default. So your custom charity color. You can add in a custom URL. So if you wanted to send any links direct to your website or like a different page on the campaign, you can fully customize the default text that's on fundraising pages. So again, you might want to make it something more personable or customizable to your specific cause in terms of how they're making an impact for you directly. Again, if you are the next two are essentially for the event sign-up page through Event Master, so you can fully customize the ask there. So if a person is ready, if you do have a sign-up form through an event master event, you can customize the ask here, and you can even customize the order complete screen in terms of the messaging they see there. You can turn off the start fundraising button. So again, very similar to the donate now. For example, you might want a campaign where you're just asking for people to donate instead of start fundraising. So that is that option here. You can keep the fundraising pages open after the campaign closes. So again, if you wanted to just extend the campaign and allow people to get in those extra donations, you would tick this box. And your social media pages can be added here then as well. So basically these will preview, I think we'll probably have it. Yeah, so this is if you have your social media networks connected to the platform, essentially you'll have follow buttons on the campaign page to the pages that you've added, and it'll also be a preview of your feed. That's just that example there. You can also optionally add in a YouTube video to the page as well, and that's where you would link that in there. For the challenges, again, we do have a full webinar on the functionality in terms of the front end and the user experience. That was run in conjunction with the Irish Heart Foundation, and they've been a big user of the challenges with great success. So again, that might be a handy one to watch back in case you did want to have a look at that in a little bit more detail, but just to show you what's available in terms of customizing it from the back end yourself. You can turn on challenges. You can add a description. So it might be, join us and do 5K a day for the month of September. And you just tick whether you want to measure steps, kilometers, or miles. We're actually going to be adding in a custom option here. So whether if it's a dip a day, squats, skipping, whatever kind of activity you want to get your fundraisers involved in. So you can fully customize what the activity is in terms of what they're measuring each day. And then again, measuring the overall target that you want the fundraiser to complete. If these aren't applicable, you can just tick the box to disable them. And you'll be able to fully customize your activity there also. So once the custom option will be added in here, it will look slightly different, but the whole interface is essentially the same for your challenges. For the team options, so if teams are enabled, essentially you'll have a join team option on your fundraising campaign. Let's turn the font for this one now. You can restrict the quantity of members on each team if you want to. Again, this is just optional. For teams, you can do a static amount. So for example, if you want teams to raise a minimum of €1,000, you would do a static amount. Whereas if you didn't have a maximum restriction on teams, so say if it will just build. So if your fundraising target for each fundraiser is €100 and there's 10 people in the team, then the target will be 1,000. If there's 20, it'll be 2,000. And so on. So it's a moving total essentially for the team, depending on the number of members that they have. you can give people the option of making their teams public or private. If a team is public, essentially any visitor to the page can go in and join. They'll see the join the team button. If it's private, essentially the person who sets up the team will have to send invites to specific people with a password to join the team. That's all done automatically for you through a built-in comm schedule. So essentially, as soon as the person creates the team, they get an automatic email with the link to their team page, the password, and a prompt to send the invite with a template to other people then as well. So it's essentially all done for you for the team side of it. Um, for you can disable the join a team option for public pages. So say if you wanted to stop any more kind of team registration. You can also disable direct donations to teams. This just means if a person is donating to a team page where all the members are visible, will they they'll have to pick a fundraiser in that team to send the money to, rather than just sending it to everyone in that specific team. And again, similar to the default fundraising page text, you can customize the default team page text. So if somebody goes on to visit a team page, they'll see that custom message. So instead of saying thank you for visiting my fundraising page, it'll say our and so on. So that's the default one that's put in for you anyway. And in the advanced section, again, this is just for the integration in case you were doing anything with an event with the sign up. So this just means that if a person is signing up for your event on the platform, you can control if the pages are automatically created or whether the participant if there's a yes, no, or a default option there for them. Just to show you, I'll just turn on the Teams just to do it, and we'll do public, dynamic, save. No, sorry, I did too many changes at the one time. So yeah, you'll see there's the create a team option there now. And essentially it's just the team name, the email, essentially the very same as the fundraising sign up there as well. So yeah, just an extra bit on the challenges. Again, you have the step and the distance are the main ones again that are there right now. And once the custom option is there, then we'll be sending out an update for all the charity users to just so you're aware it's available to you with a guide on how to use it as well. This is just an overview in terms of the challenges from the webinar with the Irish Heart Foundation. The biggest difference with the challenge is essentially just to show you like an active fundraising page that does have the challenge turned on. The update challenge button is always there. So essentially when a fundraiser, they don't need to log in essentially to see that button. They can always just click on it and add in their activity for that day. They're just putting in their the date of the activity, the distance, or whatever the configuration you have on it as well. They can add in a comment and they can even upload an image. So we find it's really user friendly in terms of being very inclusive. Like people don't need to have any kind of a Facebook page or any kind of extra steps. It's all kind of in the one place for them. And the key ask was through the challenges is that the fully integration with in terms of you wanting the fundraiser to engage in fundraising as well as taking part in the activity. So essentially every time the fundraiser updates their challenge, they're being prompted to share their fundraising page. So again, it automates the whole process for you as a charity in terms of the ask and that kind of constant engagement. So if people are updating their page, they're being asked to share their page by default. So it's all built into the process for you. For the event integration, again, there's a full webinar on setting up fundraising events on the platform. But just for charities, just to show you from your own login, you have a My Event section here. And this will essentially take you into the Event Master platform. So I just have a draft event here set up. Again, very simple interface just to give you a quick view in terms of details, the dates of your event, adding tickets, adding in any kind of custom design. And for the fundraising, so if you do want to play around in setting up your own event on the system, again, this is totally available to you. And you'll notice in the advanced tab, there's a fundraising option down here. And you basically click on a customized fundraising campaign, and then you're going to link it to your the fundraising campaign essentially, and it's as easy as that. For the I'll just save it here. This is a draft event. So in terms of the registration will be open essentially for just for the demo. And then you also will notice here that there's the Teams functionality. So the big thing essentially is for the team option. If you have Teams turned on your event registration, and Teams turned on in the fundraising campaign, it's fully linked. So essentially, the reason you would essentially have the registration on through this way is if, say, you wanted to take a €20 deposit for the person to take part in the event or in the challenge, you would usually have the sign up, and you'd set up the event and the fundraising campaign and link the two, essentially just so you can take the payment. If the teams are turned on, it's fully automated. So if a person comes on and does the sign up, I'll just show you a preview here. So essentially it means if you have a register button, the person can come on and they will see the option here in terms of they can either register as an individual or they can see the team here. So they can create a new team, add in their team name, or they can join an existing team from the drop down as well. So if I complete the process, fill in all the details required, my fundraising page will automatically be set up and I'll automatically be in that team in the fundraising campaign. So the next person that comes on, they'll see, team event master or whatever, especially for corporates. I think that's the ones that get a huge use out of this at the minute. But they can just pick their team and automatically have their fundraising pages all pulled into the one, all pulled into the one place. In terms of engagement and analytics, I guess a big thing in terms of kind of all of charities in terms of the resources and time, we do have an automated communication schedule. So that goes out to fundraisers. So from the minute the fundraiser registers to take part in your campaign or take part in your event, they're getting an email with a link to their page by default. And they're essentially starting their fundraiser journey from there. So you can customize the messaging in terms of setting milestones. So for the milestone events, you can decide, what they get an email when they hit €100, €250, €500, and so on. And you can kind of customize these to essentially let them know the impact they're having for you specifically. And that's all done for you on a totally automated basis. And similarly, the biggest one is the encouragement emails. So by default, all your inactive fundraisers, so people who haven't fundraised or say they were fundraising and now they're currently inactive because over 28 days has passed, they'll get small encouragement emails then as well to say why not be your first donor, why not customize your page, giving them fundraising tips and encouragement. So again, you can fully customize the wording here. In terms of how to do this in your benefactor dashboard in the back end here, there's a support section. This is where the webinar recording will be after today, but it'll be emailed to you directly as well. So all the functionality is in here in terms of detailed guides on how to set up anything. For the automated communications, if anyone is interested, this is in here as well. So you can download a full PDF in terms of the layout and the wording and the schedule. I won't get too much into it, but it is detailed and customizable in there as well in terms of the default text that's there. So you don't need to go in and change anything. Again, the default has had great success for many charities over the last 3 years. But just in case you did want to take a look and play around with anything there. You'll notice on all the fundraising campaigns on the platform, there is a fundraiser of the week feature. So just to show you, we'll pick a random one. So you can see and engage with your fundraisers as well in terms of the top fundraiser that week. So it's automatically calculated for you. So on your fundraising campaign page, you'll see the fundraiser of the week. So if you're doing any kind of shout outs on your social media or engaging with fundraisers, your campaign page can be a great kind of place for engagement essentially with all your fundraisers. For the Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel, you can just pop us over an email. Basically, it means your marketing team would set up the Google Analytics. So very similar to your own website. It just means we'd place the tracking code on your fundraising campaign. So you can see the traffic from fundraisers and fundraising pages and donors and visits to the campaign. So you can kind of track the overall engagement with it as well. Again, very handy for any kind of, targeted Google ads, and with the Facebook Pixel as well. If you're doing any Facebook ads, essentially it can be really handy in terms of retargeting campaigns. So maybe people who came onto the campaign page, it just means if you have any paid Facebook ads that you want to link to that specific campaign, it's going to retarget the people who have visited the page for you. Coming soon, we'll have our free widget pack. Essentially, this is here right now. Let me just open up a few. So this is the first one that we showed you. Essentially, it's the start fundraising one, where you can have fundraisers, do the sign up for campaigns all on your website. What we will have as well in terms of phase 2 in this development in the next few weeks, essentially, is that when they're signing up through a fundraising campaign like this, there's the option to pay through it. So essentially, it eliminates the step of setting up a separate event. You can take the deposit through the fundraising campaign, and that amount is automatically put onto the fundraiser's page by default as their first donation. So essentially, it'll be a game changer essentially in the fundraiser instantly being on that active fundraiser journey and feeling motivated to keep going through their fundraising from that initial sign up phase. For the next one as well is a campaign calendar widget. So what this is essentially is, again, this block here. So it'll fit into your website. So say if your visitors to your website are looking to find events to take part for you in. So again, this is customizable in terms of what events you want to be visible on the campaign for you. So for example, if you're a Cork-based charity, you might want the Cork Marathon or other different Cork-based events there that people in your locality might be really interested in for you. So the options on the campaign will be to click in to view it if they do need to register, and the start fundraising. So essentially with that start fundraising button, it means if they click on start fundraising, it's your charity that's there in that journey. So if they click on start fundraising, they're going to be creating a fundraising page for your charity and not having to pick multiple charities from that drop down. And the donate now widget, this essentially is a donate option that can sit into your website as well. So people can do a once-off donation, pick the amount or type in any amount, or they can choose to give monthly as well. So it's a recurring donation structure. Just like this, the encouragement here is by donating €250 or €21 monthly, which is the default amount, you can reclaim that tax paid essentially. So it's kind of driving that more for you as well. So these are essentially available now. Over the next few weeks. I think Louise will have the exact date from the engineers. This page will be added to your back end, so you can see your preview and you'll have access to the code sent to your web team. Like that, if you want it sooner, we can essentially give it to you right now at your request. So yeah, that essentially is a sneak preview. Obviously, the main one today is our start fundraising and the campaign creation. But yeah, that was pretty much a brief overview. Again, I think we will do. I'll be sending out the recording, and we will have full guides available on the widget setup as well. Louise, Claire, is there anything you guys want to add? And likewise, if anyone has any questions, feel free to pop them in now and we can go through any queries you have. Even if it's something generic on the platform, just let us know.
Thanks, Leanne. I think the takeaway from today is just to show you how to create the campaigns, how easy it is to create campaigns, how user-friendly it is then with regards to the fundraisers creating their pages. Pages are created instantly. They can share them instantly, and there's no activation of the page or anything like that. So I think the campaign widget is going to be a game changer in that it sits on your site. You know, they create the page in one step, and where you look to collect a deposit and then the balance to be fundraised. Again, it makes it a very simple process whereby you set the amount of the deposit, they fill in the form, do the payment for the deposit, and the page is created and they have their first donation on their page, and away they go in the activated, you know, where they're getting the milestones in their comms to keep them moving with their fundraising. So I think it's just the simplicity of creating the campaigns, and I hope that that you can see that from the demonstration. Thanks, Leanne.
Thanks, Louise. Again, just to reiterate, the widgets are available for free, so there's no cost, and again, no platform fees, and the only time you won't see 100% of the donation is if the donor does not to cover the bank charge for you. So yeah, again, a big development for the platform, and like that, a lot of these developments come from charity feedback, and you know, if you have an idea that's going to make your life easier, definitely tell us. We're always looking for new additions and improvements, because if it makes your life easier, chances are it's going to, you know, be a great addition to the platform for lots of other charities as well. So we do love to hear from charity users with their experience of the platform, and you know, what kind of events or what kind of challenges or what kind of new fundraising initiative they have that we can be involved in. So yeah, not to keep you too much longer, if you do have any questions, feel free to contact any of us directly, and we'll keep you posted with the recording. And if you'd like to get started, feel free to set up your own campaign, or get in touch if you need anything at all. So thanks so much for joining, guys. Hope you have a nice evening.